Hi, my name is Mark, and whether you're a part-time, full-time mechanic, or even a guy that works out of his garage on the weekend servicing his own vehicle, I'm going to show you some simple ways to service and repair your vehicle with our how-to videos. Let's get started. So what we have here is a 2005 Pontiac G6 with a 3.5 liter engine in it. I'm going to show you how to replace the heater hoses. So let's pop the hood and identify where they're at. The tools required for today's repair is a flashlight, safety glasses, some gloves, flat-bladed screwdriver. We can use pliers, needle nose vice grips, or hose clamp pliers. We also required a fender cover, a jack, a drain pan, and optional, a door panel tool, and 8mm on a 1/4-inch drive ratchet to remove the lower valance panel. We have our vehicle lifted, we have our safety stands underneath, we're getting ready to drain our coolant. The petcock is located right near a brace. It's hard to get to, hard to see, but I'll try to show you where it's at. With our vehicle raised, what we're going to do is we're going to drain our coolant. Our petcock is located right here. We're going to turn that counterclockwise, and we're going to remove it. It's located right in front of this subframe. So let's go ahead, reach in there, and drain it. Once the coolant has been drained, go ahead and shut your petcock. Make sure that it's tight. Opposite rotation, we're going to turn it clockwise. Make sure it's tight. Everything's good. So let's go ahead, lower our vehicle. We're going to remove our hose and our tank first. You can use a pair of pliers if they're accessible. Just slide it back. Some of the tighter hose clamps may have to use a hose clamp pliers. You can also use some vice grips. Let's just go ahead, remove that hose. We're going to take our screwdriver, move our clip out and up, another clip here. While putting pressure up, we're going to just lift that up out of there. We're going to move that out of the way to access our heater hoses. This one and this one. There's two clamps right here. We're going to rotate those back. Going to grab the other one, rotate it back. Once we get our hose clamps moved back, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the heater hose slightly and we're going to twist it to break the seal. We're going to do the other one the same way. We're going to grab it and twist it to break that seal. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the two hose clamps. We're going to move them back on the hose. Just like that. We're going to pull this hose off so we can gain access for the other hose clamp. Now we can remove the lower heater hose from the heater core and the engine. Now that we have our hose out, we want to compare it to our replacement. Sometimes it's easier to cut these back with a razor blade, especially at the firewall where the heater core is, so you don't damage the heater core. If they're really tight and you start twisting on them real heavy, you could damage the heater core, creating more damage. So let's go ahead, compare our hose. So we want to check our hose for size and length and check the diameter. Once everything looks good, we're going to remove this hose clamp at the bottom heater core side, and we're going to replace it right there. This way we don't have to fight it. We're going to want to rotate that clamp to the upside so we can actually get to it. Let's go ahead and reinstall our lower heater hose. So we're actually going to put it on the firewall side first. Once we get our upper hose on, we're just going to install our upper hose clamp. Release it. Now that we put that in, I'm going to push it to the firewall and release it. Let's just go ahead, reinstall our coolant tank. Make sure the connections are on, everything looks good, check and inspect. I'll just set that back in there. Now let's go ahead, install our overflow hose. And now we can add coolant. So let's just go ahead and add some coolant. This is a 50-50 mix. Some is straight up, you may have to add water. We're going to use 50-50. Great for this application. We're going to top this off. You can probably check your manufacturer specifications to see how much coolant it actually requires. So once we get this topped off, what we're going to do is we're going to start our engine. We're going to leave our radiator cap off, and we're going to run it up to 2,000 RPM. We're going to want the heater on and check for any leaks. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our engine up to 2,000, check for leaks with the heater on. Go ahead, raise it up. A little more. A little more. That's good right there. All we want to do, look for leaks. We want the thermostat to open. That's going to allow more coolant inside. Wow, that was pretty easy. I just showed you how to do the heater hoses, replace them, and top off the coolant. Now, you know what? Everything is fine and great with this car.